boy, midway through my run on my new shoes. I love new shoe day, it's amazing. I live pretty frugally, and spending 150, 180 bucks on a new pair of shoes is about all I ever do. That's it. Anyway, I've had a couple of subscribers reach out to me about dealing with spazzy white belts. And it's really funny. Like, one of them is a guy who thinks that he's a spazzy white belt, and another is like a blue belt, kind of going, well, how do you deal with them and stuff like that. And it's really interesting because I saw a meme the other day on a friend's, a guy who's a jiu-jitsu coach posted this meme. I can't remember who it was that originally said it. It might be Jeff Curran, one of the higher grade guys at the PSR. And he obviously had some guys whinging about some spazzy white belt. And he's like, the meme went like, so you're complaining about the spazzy white belt that's big and athletic, but you came to jiu-jitsu for self-defense. Yeah, so like, what you're saying is that you don't have the skills to control this person that's mimicking a portion of what you might experience in the street, and yet you're complaining about it. And I mean, to be perfectly fair, I was a spazzy white belt. Everybody, okay, not everybody's a spazzy white belt. But get this, a lot of people coming into jiu-jitsu already have some sort of athletic or sport background, often another martial arts background, right? And so they come with coordination, they come with some discipline, they've been involved in classes before, they know how to move and control their body. But sometimes people are not, believe it or not. Sometimes people come into the art, they've got no athletic background, they might have done some sports at school and stuff like that, and then they've buried themselves in a career for 20 years, and then they have some sort of a health scare or whatever it is, and then they end up coming to the club, right? And you know, they could be big, they could be, you know, like kind of strong and stuff like this. They don't know how to measure their strength, right? Until someone's got a few stripes on their belt. Even white belts up to like 3rd stripe get a bit of a pass. It's like, you know, we're all spazzy white belts to some degree, right? Some more, some less. But I always say I forgive white belts for almost everything. Like, they don't know anything, they're new to the art, and they don't know how to move. They're going to knee you in the head by accident. They might knee you in the balls by accident. They might elbow you in the stomach. There's a lot of accidents that happen on the mat all the time. It's a competitive environment. You're rolling with each other and wrestling each other, and people who are not used to that, it can take a while. I've rolled with spazzy purple belts. Yeah, guys who are like 100 plus kilos. They have some skills, but they're using mostly strength. They try and overpower you, they get frustrated, they add more strength, more power, more speed, knee you in the head, clunky, clunky, clunk. It's not a grade thing, but what I would say is, like, how much tolerance do you want? How much tolerance were you given when you started? A lot probably, right? Without saying it, probably a lot of the people on the mat were getting pissed off by you, whoever you are. Right? I was that guy. I was that annoying guy. I mean, I was really physically strong and super fit and really aggressive and had all sorts of anger issues going on. I was a nightmare for the guys, you know, and they just pummeled me into the ground and pummeled me into the ground, you know, and eventually I kind of got it. But I mean, I was in a really aggressive, hyper competitive club. And I think sometimes that, you know, especially if you've got a group of guys together who've come up through the grades together, who are used to, you know, each other and stuff like that, and then you get some new guy come in who's kind of clunky, it feels kind of weird, right? You know, and I mean, he probably feels weird too. He's joining this new group, everyone seems to be really tight, you know, and he feels like the outsider, so he has to try a bit harder than everybody else, and he's trying to get his first stripe or whatever it is, and he's you know, trying to do his best, but ultimately, you know, he's a clunky, spazzy white belt, and that's normal. It's totally normal. Yeah, it's normal for someone to come into the art who doesn't have a big physical background or athletic or martial arts background. It could take them a year or two to like figure out how to You know, how long did it take you to figure out how to move your body and move nicely and stuff like that? I'm still trying to figure it out. I've been doing it for 30 years. I still think I'm clunky, you know? So like, show some tolerance and remember that that was you. And if you're the spazzy white belt, then the best thing you can do is things like anything that connects you with your body, yeah? So I think that the more that you use your body in different ways, the more you're gonna understand it. Whether it's simple things like balancing on one leg or doing yoga and stuff like that, that takes some slow body control stuff, things like that. You know, even some ball sports, buy a tennis ball and use your hand like a handball or just whack it against a concrete wall, move around, play a variety of sports and do a variety of movements, you know. For kids, especially kids who are around like the like 8, 9, 10 year age, I always encourage parents to get them into some weight training. Not crazy serious weight training, but just something, even some dumbbells and stuff like that, because developing the control of controlling a weight through a range of motion like this, especially for some neurodivergent kids who, you know, at that age, and especially if they're neurodivergent, then they tend to like seem like a little unco, like they're trying to grow into their bodies and the tendons and ligaments and stuff haven't like, you know, formed strong bonds yet. So that's where you get those kind of like loose looking kids on the mat. And then a couple of years later, if they do some weight training and once they like get quite physical on the mat and their body starts to mature, you'll start to see that all the joints start to tighten up a little bit more and they seem to have better body control and better balance and move their body better. It's totally normal at that age, but it can be the same for adults. It's exactly the same. So if you haven't had an athletic background, you're going to be that like kind of person, right? Until you master your body, until you can figure out like what your left foot does and your right foot does. And I mean, jiu-jitsu is complex, right? You're asking people to do things with their body, with their feet, with their legs, with their butt and stuff, things they've never done, you know? And I think that it's just too easy to lose sight of that. And I think as a coach, I've been watching it for 30 years. So I get to see it all the time for decade after decade after decade. But for new people, and I'm saying people who've been in the art like less than 3 or 4 years, then like they're gonna look at this person as like some sort of alien. And I'm like, you were that alien. I remember when you were like that. Yeah, but they've lost sight of it, you know? So if you're the spazzy white belt, then my advice is in your own time, do some yoga and body control things and stuff like that. Do a little bit of resistance training. I think that'll help a lot just in terms of like your motor control and stuff like that. And if you're dealing with the spazzy white belt, then see it as a challenge. See it as an opportunity to sharpen your skills and get control of this person. I've had like quite aggressive wrestlers, you know, join my clubs in the past, and they can be a handful. They love driving forwards and getting in your face, and that's very confronting for jiu-jitsu guys who generally like want to lie on their back and play guard and have like space between them. And to have someone like right pushing forwards in your guard, forearm on your throat, holding your head in a headlock, things like that, that can be like a little overwhelming, but that's what we do it for, right? So remember that we're doing a martial art for self-defense, and if somebody is threatening us in some way, if we feel threatened, it doesn't mean they're being threatening. It means we've been triggered by something, yeah, right? Something different than what we're used to. And that's what a fight's going to be. A real street fight is going to be unpredictable. The person's going to be in your face. They're going to smell. They're going to be aggressive. There might be blood. You might have hit your head. You could be dizzy. There's going to be all sorts of stuff go on. And you have to be able to deal with all of it. So the mantra in my place for blue belt is composure under pressure. And that's exactly what it's like. If ever you've been in a white belt tournament, it's nothing but spazzy white belts spazzing out at each other. That's what white belt is. That's what that is. That's what the whole belt is. And then when you get your blue belt, hopefully you're less spazzy and more organized and have better control of yourself. But just go watch any white belt jiu-jitsu match and it's just, you know, it's like that. That's the belt, that's the grade, that's what they're like. And it's a journey, and it takes years and years and years to develop sensitivity and subtlety and things like that. So if you're the spazzy white belt, do lots of physical things that require control, and like yoga and stuff like that would be really good because it's kind of awkward. Pilates might be really good. Any sort of ball sport is really, really good. Anything to challenge your coordination and keep persisting. Yeah, because you will get better, and you will get smoother, and you will get more subtle, and you will get more sensitive with time. It just takes time on the mat. And if you're being intolerant, well, here's a chance for you to practice your tolerance, and maybe just give some gentle advice to the guy. Hey, like, calm down, settle down. Like, this is, oh, that was really good, but like, try and do this, and just be understanding. That's my advice. Is like, the more people we have doing the sport, the better. And we're going to have all sorts. We're going to have tall people, short people, calm people, hyperactive people, spazzy people, controlled people, experienced grapplers in other sports. We're going to have strikers come in who want to challenge everything. Oh, just punch them in the face and all that. We've got everybody in the art, and we have to embrace everybody and do our best to be as tolerant as possible. Anyway, speaking of which, I better get new shoes on the trail. Bye. Cheers.